Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of PlayStation Underground. You got Tim and Sid and Kristen here.
Sid is very excited.
And you know what? There's a lot to be excited about. This is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We are checking out Gunfight mode, which is a new mode in Modern Warfare. It's a 2v2. Very competitive, very thrilling mode.
Yeah.
We got a chance to play it recently.
I loved it. This was a huge standout for me. I'm all about this new Modern Warfare. It's really exciting. But this 2v2 stuff, and that alpha's coming out on PS4. I think it's exclusive to PS4, coming out anytime now.
Exclusively try out Gunfight mode via the alpha on PlayStation 4. All you need is an internet connection, your PS4, and your TV. And your DualShock, no PS Plus required.
And an Ethernet cable.
That's right.
Or Wi-Fi.
That's going to be key.
A router, you'll need that.
And this is one of the maps you'll be able to play on. So this is King. We're going to check out two other matches. This is gameplay that we captured from a recent event, and we're kind of walking through it. And that alpha will also have two maps that you'll be able to check out called Over, Under, and Speedball. But
now I noticed that there was just a new loadout at the beginning of this round, so it's each team is starting with the same loadout.
Yes, there's sort of a curated batch of loadouts. This is what the developers at Infinity Ward intimated to me, is they sort of curate these loadouts. And some of them are kind of kooky. You're going to see that here in a little bit. And then everybody has that exact same loadout. So it might be like, hey, I've got a shotgun with a sniper.
Would have been me, right?
Getting shot in the butt?
Yeah.
This is my gameplay from this session, and what you're going to see is that we are getting absolutely trounced here as we get our feet underneath us. But that's also because this was the first time I had really tried out gunfight mode. But as Sid was saying, it's like every round starts with an unpredictable set of weapons. So you know that as you're trying to grapple with this, shotgun-pistol combination, that the other team has the exact same loadout.
It might be like a super lengthy double-barreled shotgun with a sniper scope on it and Molotov cocktails. That was one that came up a couple times when we were playing. They aren't just like randomly tossed in there. No. They're more of a curated selection that are then randomly selected like cards in a deck. But this is like right here, you can see it's a shotgun and a pistol.
And you're starting with a shotgun, and the enemies, your opponents are the other side of the map. So maybe what I should have done here initially was switch to the pistol, because that'll have longer range for these. And you're just like thinking on the fly like this.
And this is it. This is the map. We just ran through it. It takes you about 5 seconds to get from one side to the other. Ooh.
So it really makes for those like quick and dirty
It's almost like we were describing many a time that this is almost like a fighting game.
Yes.
Or it reminds me a lot. I used to play a lot of old PC shooters, like the early days of like dial-up internet, like deathmatch type stuff, and it would be like 1v1, and both players would really know the map really well, and it'd be really intense, and it really kind of took me back to that. It's kind of old school in a way.
It feels that way, because like it's an interesting contrast to what the sort of one of the big tenets of this like Modern Warfare's multiplayer is just customization for perks, like 60 weapon attachments per weapon, and this is just super focused. And there's
the challenge here is the limitation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what they say: from constraint, creativity.
That's correct. And so I felt definitely I had to rise to the challenge here. We really experienced something that every round, we're going to see again 3 rounds. Everyone was really close.
I like that move. That was a good move.
Thank you so much.
Come on.
One temptation that I used to have was
it's intense.
It is so intense, and
it is filled with glee at the sight of this.
Every match is 40 seconds, so that's something to keep in mind.
I was going to say, okay, 40 seconds. I was going to say there wasn't like a countdown anywhere. What happens if nobody wins?
So if you go if it's a rare instance where two folks are being particularly cowardly or you can't find each other, it'll click into overtime, and there's a flag that will spawn in the middle of the match. You can see where it's going to spawn when the match starts, and you have about 10 seconds to go and capture that flag, and that'll score you a point.
Nice.
And so that's one way to kind of suss everybody out from hiding, which is key. So you can see here we're starting to get our feet underneath.
Yeah, starting to get the hang of it.
Another person at the event and I were playing this. There was some language barriers, so we were doing sort of some on-the-fly sort of teamwork. I would kind of just try to follow him as much as possible, but I think
gesticulations and
that's
things.
right. And teamwork is really key in here if you can help it. As I clearly just soldier forth on my own.
And again, the weapon loadout really sort of determines the tactics you take in the map. So there was actually one of these was kind of crazy. We had some sort of rocket launcher and then like a machine gun, and those were the 2 weapons we had. And the machine gun takes forever to reload. Rocket launcher does too. So you're sort of it's really clever and kind of diabolical the combinations that Infinity Ward's put in here. And it accounts for grenades and tactical weapons. Sometimes it's as simple as like a pistol only, and then like several different grenade types. It's really interesting. You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Grenade kill.
Thank you very much. So this was really intense. So now it's coming down to almost game point here. That was a lucky grenade.
That was a dramatic little camera there.
Yeah. The kill cams, I think.
Here we go. Just like I said, just one pistol. That's all we got.
Comes down to it, and the weapons feel really, really just. I don't know what the word is. Like they went through a lot of efforts to make the the recoil feel more authentic. Just sort of the sway of the barrel. Yeah, sorry about that. Everything feels a little bit more cathartic and authentic, but at the same time, I feel like that lends to the intensity of gunfight mode.
This is a tricky combo here because that gun is powerful, but it's more of a close-range weapon.
That's right. And they've also paid more attention to the bullet penetration, and I think there's some round you can look at this and all the like the plywood and such. A lot of everything, but say like a 9mm pistol round should be able to penetrate that. But I wasn't quite up to snuff on that quite yet. But that's just you kind of learning to know the new weapons and how they feel differently in Modern Warfare. And this is actually a good opportunity to try out different weapons that you might not otherwise think to try in multiplayer.
That's true, because you're kind of forced into it, and you kind of have to get used to, okay, how am I going to handle with this when normally I've been mainlining something else?
Yeah, and so it gets you out of your comfort zone, like you're saying.
That was smooth.
I was
flare right there.
I was thinking that was going to be a flashbang, and that's the key of looking at your loadout before you just go running in. Is I'm like, oh, that'll be a flashbang. He'll be disoriented. But it was smoke, and
it just added.
It still worked out. Yeah,
made a cool scene there.
Thank you.
Ooh, final round.
So yeah, it comes down to this, and Infinity Ward was saying, oh yeah, so this is
a nice loadout.
Yeah.
Semtex.
Infinity Ward was saying that a striking amount of matches come down to game point here.
That is true. With my experience as well. We were playing on 2 different stations, and I'm seeing you got quite a different lineup here of some of your loadouts. Oh, that was an easy one.
I never saw the rocket launcher and pistol combo. Thank you.
Maybe
you got Sid. So this is King. So this very classic interior, very symmetrical course. Not all the gunfight mode courses are symmetrical, but we're going to jump into another map. Okay, so we're checking out Stack here, which is also a generally pretty symmetrical map. This was one of my favorites from it, just because it had a little bit more, variance on the side, some more cover on the side here, and then you have these big this block in the middle, so you can't see straight down the course. But what did we start off with here first? Like an M4 and a pistol.
Good hardy weapon there.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you said that you were playing around with the rocket launcher on this match.
Yeah.
And man, you were hiding in this crazy beginning, and the rocket came hitting and it just rattled the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. I mean, the weapons are incredibly detailed in this game.
Yeah.
The reload animations look awesome. And then just the sheer volume outside of this mode. And this is the thing, the gunsmith mode, where they said 30 to 60 add-ons, mods for each weapon. I mean, shotguns.
A lot of customization.
So crazy customization, like barrel length and muzzle brakes and different kinds of suppressors and flash suppressors and grips and trigger actions and on and on and on forever. So there's so much of that stuff, and that actually benefits a mode like this, because that's what they're doing, is they're sort of they're curating all these different weapon variants from that gigantic pool enabled by all those mods in the gunsmith mode.
And
so
they
that's
just drop it into here.
And they drop it into here. And one of the developers was remarking to me that they were sort of looking for stuff that was almost kind of OP, and they would kind of slot it in here, just because it makes it fun and intense in 2v2.
And I thought that worked out really well. And another thing I like in the variety, like speaking to the depth of multiplayer, but these matches generally took like 5 to 7 minutes per. So if you just have time for a quick match, don't have to worry about customizing your loadout. Like you can just jump in.
We're about to head out the door. Don't mind me.
I'm about to go to work, but I'll just toss it.
I think I got a quick 5 or 7 minutes.
Why not? And this match, I'm reminded, it has one of my favorite rounds of gunfight that we played. It actually might be one of the next rounds here. The loadout was just this map was specifically tailored really well for sniper rifles, and I think that's the next one. Like you see, the 50 cal handgun has like a barrel extension on this one, so you're gonna get extra range.
You can make crazy freak show handguns with like really long barrels and like muzzle brakes,
cartoonishly long.
Yeah, it's so funny and just absolutely devastating. The way the game manages all those different mobs is as you sort of add more, it either makes your movement speed when you're aiming down the sight slightly slower, and or reduces the speed of
That's
aiming
right.
down the sight, so it kind of makes you more sort of sluggish as a player.
So
here's that rifle.
Here's
you were
the
just
sniper
talking
fight,
about.
which was fun.
First kill.
And it's interesting because it's just like, I don't know, is the guy going to appear here? And it just turns into this sniper showdown. But meanwhile, I don't. My teammate came through there. Like, that was really fun, but you also could have done some damage by just like sprinting forward while you know that everyone has tunnel vision with this. But this. And I wasn't even expecting to, you get used to rushing and finding your lanes down the map, but then suddenly you're handing a sniper rifle and you're looking at the map
in a totally different way.
Exactly.
And here, just sort of a bit of insight, it just occurred to me. So I like fighting games. I'm not like a pro or anything, but I've been playing them my whole life. I'm pretty good at some of them. And what I like about this 2v2 mode, this gunfight, is you get into the mind games, and that's one of the things that makes fighting games fun. And that's what it is here. You're weighing, like, well, he's sniping. If I run in because he's got tunnel vision, if I can take him out, but he may be aware that I'm thinking that way. And wait a minute, what's my loadout? Is there like a mine in there? Is there something that he could do to goad me into doing the very thing that's going to defeat me? It's so interesting, and you don't get that in these larger scale multiplayer shooters for the most part.
The chaos can be moving so fast in your standard multiplayer match of Call of Duty that it just everything it's chaos. There's a lot happening, and this can feel so deliberate where it's just you're rewarded, like you were saying, Sid, by learning your own loadout because you can use that against the other team, but also knowing you should look out for Semtech mines or something like that, or claymores.
Devastating.
Oh, so we clicked over to the 50 cal. One thing I think I learned this time around with the 50 cal is don't be a compulsive reloader because it takes 9 years.
Yep.
But also aiming a little bit lower than you think you need to because
that recoil.
Yeah, the recoil just climbs yourself, and otherwise you'll be blasting way over.
And just fun fact, like there's probably in the other modes, there's probably add-ons that you can put on it that reduces that tendency for it to go up. I think there is one specifically is the perforated barrel actually.
Helps with recoil.
I believe it helps with the recoil, prevents the sort of upward kick that you're talking about. Not in this mode. I don't mean to confuse you. These are all pre-selected, and you're stuck with what you get. But just, again, I think a testament to the game's crazy detail arsenal. I've never seen anything like it.
I haven't either. And, Call of Duty is a series that's known for having really deep weapon customization in multiplayer specifically.
They sort of I don't know if invent is the right word, but they certainly were a major contributor to sort of weapon modifications.
Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Starting with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. We'd never seen anything quite like that game at that point. And here they go, and they ramp it up like crazy.
Like, Sid, did you see so many 50 caliber handguns in your round? Because I feel like I was served this a lot.
There was a fair number. I only recall seeing 2 different pistols. I think one was a more traditional, 9mm type weapon, and then this was sort of the heavy.
I love that it has the scope attached to it too.
Oh, and that's the other thing. And this even applies to gunfight mode is like the concept of laser discipline, since you need to you can customize your weapons with more laser sights, as you'd see fit.
Yeah.
But that will give you away, especially with night vision goggles.
Did you get a read on whether they're going to do night combat in any of the 2v2 maps?
That's a great question.
We'll have to follow up on that one, but that would be interesting. I know the night vision combat for both of us in the rest of the game was a big standout. So I guess that's something we'll have to wait and see what they do with this mode. But this is a very promising mode.
I got scared.
Do we know how many maps are part of this mode?
Yeah, so I don't have a full count of all the gunfight mode maps, but I know for the alpha specifically, you're going to be able to play 5 different maps. One is going to be King, which we just checked out, Stack, the map we're playing now, and then Pine, the next map we're going to show off. And then also you're going to be able to get hands-on with Docks and Speedball, which are making their playable debut.
And obviously, this is all pre-release and subject to change, and I'm sure Infinity Ward is tweaking the knobs and playing with the various levers on this as they get ready for launch. October 25th, is it?
Yes.
But, I mean, it's interesting, too. I had a chance to talk with the gang there, and they have, like, a very aggressive post-launch content sort of plan that they're working on right now, and they're very clear about that.
Yeah, we're jumping over to Pine here, which is one of the first maps of gunfight mode that Activision Infinity Ward revealed when they first showed off the mode. And this one's totally different than the last 2.
I like it. It's my favorite.
It's much bigger, a lot more blind spots, I would say.
Yeah.
Camper's paradise.
And the foliage really obscures your view, so it still has that bit of like a training ground aesthetic, but less sterile. And I found that it was way harder to keep track of your enemies in this one, but I also really enjoyed it. So this first match did not start out in my favor. but it starts to click in a little bit better here.
I'd say you got more chances.
Yeah. We try our best. You start to notice, like in this instance, I started noticing this one guy really likes to favor this lane here off to the right. Then there's something similar, almost like the mirror opposite on the other side of the map. But then there's this whole middle ground, which is kind of this. It freaked me out. The whole middle ground is like this no man's land. Like someone could be crouching in the grass. I don't know.
Everyone's afraid to run out there first.
Yeah, and you risk triggering overtime for that, which. You don't want to have a draw. It's a little lackluster.
I really like this map.
This one was a lot of fun. Just doing a Hail Mary of a grenade toss there.
Yeah, you got to do that sometimes. When I was playing this one, I found a lot of folks like kind of slithering through the grass.
Yeah. Oh.
Because I mean, there's a lot of nooks and crannies on this map.
I thought you were going to say a lot of slithering.
A lot of slithering on this one.
And then, speaking of like grenade tosses, thankfully, like your gear is kind of locked out for the first few seconds of each match, so you can't just win.
Yeah, you can't just start spamming. I tried that. That was one of the first things I tried. I'll just huck a grenade from across the map.
What's to harm? Yeah. So this one was interesting, because that's the thing is like, okay, I got my shotgun out because I'm anxious that he's going to be just around the corner.
Right behind you, especially both of them are hunting you down now.
Exactly, and there's something so intense.
Oh, nice.
That was very satisfying, but also rewarding where it's just like, oh man, I was just outnumbered, and I didn't turn that one around, but just that feeling when your teammate is off right away. It's 2 versus 1, your palms are sweating, and then
it's all up to you.
It's all up to you, and then you turn it around, like it's an intensely satisfying thing, and your teammate's just like, congratulates you, and it feels really good. So switching to the pistol here because he got a little bit more range. And then I'll watch this playback. I see the guy off to the left even earlier than I did in game. And then another note is, no mini-map here. So
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that's sort of something that's core to multiplayer experience in general, is just trying to, I think the philosophy is just to try to pull people into the game more, and so that you're not glancing as much between a mini-map and the gameplay. You're actually just locked in. In standard multiplayer, you have to, unlock minimaps as sort of like a perk or a kill streak reward or something like that. And it really sucks you in.
It does. And classically, when I would play the other Call of Duty games, I would get chided by my friends for not looking at the minimap, and then I'd be staring at the minimap the whole time, and I'd get off. And so I think it's the right move for them. We'll see what the fans think when it comes out.
Well, I mean, if anything, it's going to have to make people focus a little bit harder on the skill set of like what loadout they're going to actually use, whether it's here if they're given a loadout or if they're customizing their weapon.
And with this machine gun here, this was an example of I really had a good time with this in gunfight mode, and then I ended up bringing this into multiplayer mode, just in like team deathmatches and stuff like that, and was having a lot of fun. And I wouldn't have given it a shot
if you hadn't played with it here.
Exactly, but like, I just caught myself there in game, like not reloading because I'm a very compulsive tactical reloader, and it'll punish you.
Is that the one that takes forever to reload?
Yes, you have to feed the belt back in there. But on that note, with the tactical reloading, there's so many cool details that we haven't even really highlighted here, where it's just if you expend your entire clip of like say a machine gun, the animation is you pulling out the clip and just tossing it aside and putting a fresh one in there. But then if you still have a little bit of ammo left, they'll do a tactical reload where they bring up, from their ammo belt another fresh mag, and they'll kind of do this manipulation where they
pop one out,
plop the new one in, because that's what would actually happen, and
just way more detail,
Yeah.
and just like the animations, the feel, the authenticity. When you can reload in aim down the sight mode right here, you can never drop your aiming and reload while you're doing it. That's that's actually not been a thing in Call of Duty. So
this weapon was really cool. This is sort of like, I don't know if it's a sort of a lever action rifle situation, kind of got a Civil War kind of aesthetic, a cavalry rifle type feel going. Because like I remember I didn't pay close attention when I first shouldered it. It felt more like a shotgun. Yeah. And then I just quickly like, oh well, this is the gun I got, and then I had to get acquainted with it. But I ended up really liking this one too. It gives me memories to like Call of Duty 2 and stuff. Simpler rifles in there. So this one's coming down to it. I think it's, and again, fairly even here.
These are all nail biters. The ones I played were a lot like this too.
Well, it's great too because it can really just come down to the wire, and you could be the one to completely turn the match.
And Mark II, MK2?
Yes. Okay. So still have one more. Yeah, you get two sort of 2 matches with that weapon set. So I feel like the first one's kind of like you getting up to speed with it, and the second match following it is like, okay, this is the weapon set. I got to get used to this. And then Gunfight also helped drive home for me. One bad habit I would have is always going into aim down sights no matter what, even if the enemy is standing 2 feet from me. And a lot of times it's really advantageous just to shoot from the hip, especially if you have like a SMG or a shotgun or something. There's no need to, because you're wasting valuable time shouldering the weapon and going aim down sights. So it comes down to this, or it could come down to this.
It could come down to this.
Yeah. So yeah, this is an interesting loadout where you just have one handgun
yeah.
and 2 pieces of gear.
Yeah, these are nail biters because you only got 7 shots with this.
I know, I just like leaned forward. Like, what's going to happen?
And like with that little, whoa, nice one.
Why, thank you. He walked right into my reticle. He's very
clean,
kind.
clean. It's almost like you have a little DMR or something, you know, a little designated marksman rifle. Like, you know, it's a heavy bullet. It's got that little scope on it, that little sight, of which there are probably just a whole bunch in the gunsmith mode. Just so interesting. You never know what you're going to get in this one.
Yeah. And so I don't know who threw that grenade over there, but
there he is.
Come
on, Tim, get him.
I'm going to try my best. Can't quite remember how this one goes down. But this enemy was using the foliage to his advantage and kind of skulking around in the.
So you could just go run and hunker down on that flag and win, right?
Yep, exactly. And you know, if my teammate and I had been coordinating well, and there you go. So that one was a round draw because no one made it to the overtime flag.
Oof.
Oh yeah, and there's another little detail where enemies drop their weapon and they kind of fling their weapon in the air as they fall this time, which is a new little flourish.
All the animations have been completely revamped from what I can tell. Yeah, there's that tactical reload. It's just sharp. It looks great. They're using a new engine too. Did you know that?
Oh really? Yeah, it definitely comes through. Like it feels really good, and you're really able to focus on those little details when you're just playing such a focus mode like gunfight mode. So
you've got gunfight is 2v2, by the way. There's not like it's not like a setting in there. That is the 2v2 mode. But you know, Infinity Ward's also doing modes that go up as big as 100. Isn't that crazy? 100 players. So I love that sort of the fact that they're kind of spanning just every possible configuration of gameplay here. It's great.
There it is.
So that's victory. We have one more bonus clip to show here real quickly that I pulled actually from Sid's gameplay.
Oh.
So we can click over to that.
Here's that crazy shotgun.
Yeah, as we kind of wrap up here, I just pulled a highlight here, which is I hadn't used. This is like an over/under double-barreled shotgun
with a scope
with a sniper scope, which
just like the pros use.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, Sid used this to very good effect in this round. And actually, it's a single shot. The other chamber is actually is plugged. So I thought this was a cool loadout. I didn't end up playing with this one at all during my match.
No, it's a double shot. It's a double shot because I haven't reloaded yet.
All right. So I think there's still now it's one-on-one here.
And I'm literally aware that I have one shell in there.
And you play this pretty well. So you get that one. You're tempted to use it as a sniper rifle because you have the scope.
Come on, baby.
Boom. There it is.
Now, that thing has a long barrel on it, too. That's the thing. So it's more effective at a distance than your traditional shotgun.
And excellent work on that, Sid.
Thank you so much.
So you can try out the 2v2 Gunfight mode alpha on PlayStation 4. It's starting on August 23rd. Just need a PlayStation 4, an internet connection, and you're good to go. So
and a TV and a DualShock.
Of course, all those details. But then Call of Duty Modern Warfare hits PlayStation 4 on October 25th.
Outstanding.